Hey, yo, shalom. All praises to the Most High. Your host with us, the sounds from YYBY. All right. Why I don't too much focus on trying to rig my my Kong, all my different drum machines inside Reason. Now, what I'm about to talk about, I actually I had to rig everything. I had to send everything to a track early in my years and everything doing music. I felt I had to. It was a need. They say you gotta have more control and stuff like that, and it's facts of that. It's pros and cons of that too. But far as me, why I don't have to. Now before I explain, the only reason why you should is when you gotta send stems to another person to mix the music, or somebody buy a track or a beat from you, and then you gotta send the stems to that person and all that. You get what I'm saying? So when you gotta do that, then you need to send those to each track and everything, and get them stems up out of there when they cutting the check. But besides that, no stems ain't going nowhere. So if they ain't cutting no check, then they ain't getting no stems. So now the real reason why I don't have to is because, man, okay, let's start with Kong. End of the day, man, a lot of the sounds and samples and all these dolls sound great as it is. Like the stock, the package, everything. And then a lot of the time the presets already banging a certain way. So now, these are drums we're dealing with. We're not talking about the instruments, we're talking about the drums. Drums run in the core, they run together, So they always they run as, when you just look at a band, you see the drummer, you see you see only the drummer, the snares, the hi-hats, the percussions and stuff like that. Or you're dealing with samples. So Kong provides a lot of simple basic things to make those drums sound good, punchy, and nice, man. They got a compressor filter, they got a small parametric EQ that gets straight to the point. Simple small things, because they designed this because a lot of the time that's all you have to do to drums, unless you're recording raw drums. If you're recording raw drums straight from a drummer, and they got to have the whole John set up with mic, they got to mic all the drums, then that's a different approach. Then they got to be on a different track, right? That's why they have a different mic on different parts of the drum. But you don't have to do that, in DAWs, man, unless you recording a drum set. But a lot of these drums are samples, so they EQ'd and compressed a certain way, but now you could tweak them in a different way. And then on top of that, they got send effects where you can send certain effects like echoes, room reverbs. You have enough tools to make your drum sound punchy, sound sharp, sound good, and everything. Then you got this nano sampler right here that you could tweak your drums and make them sound any kind of way. If you want to go in your bag and be technical with that drum, that's why I got the drummer right here, and make it sound any kind of way. Or you can straight go to a preset and just go grab one of those presets in there that bang. And so you got pan, you got the decay where you can cut that sample to make it shorter or longer. You got everything to make it sound great. Because end of the day, even if you got each one of these drum instruments on separate tracks, 9 times out of 10 we still group those drums and put them in a bus, and then put a nice compressor on that bus to kind of squeeze those drums together to make them sound as one, to make them sound, all together. Or you might just get the drums and all the instruments and do the same process, to make them sound as one together and everything. So, but if the drums is already, like this, and they're not sent to separate tracks, all you got to do is just put the right compressor or something like that on, the bus compressor on that track, and it will squeeze those drums, together. So like I say, when you're dealing with pan, you can pan each one of these. Each one of these has a pan. You got pan, That's still mixing it. You got the level. You could change the level of each sound. Unless you really need to see the volume of those drums kicking. But guys, but a lot of the times when you looking at this right here and you solo one of these instruments, you'll see what the level of this is shooting up at. So if it's shooting at red, then right here to turn that joint down. So I'm not saying this is what you have to do. This is for people who stress about they have to do it. They feel like, man, I gotta have my drums, sent to solo tracks and single tracks and everything before I could even do this A, B, C, and D. No, you don't have to, man. And because on the sequencer, you making drums from the Kong, you got different lanes for each one of your instruments you can touch and edit, right here on the sequencer. But they will all be on the same track when you go to the mixer. That's fine. It's just all about how you tweak these joints right here. It's all about how you tweak them in here. That's why that's why it's called the Kong. It got the nice tools to do all these certain things. So now, if you go to the redrum, right? Now the redrum, it has each separate one like that, as you see. They got different things you can tweak right here on the redrum. And a lot of the times you don't put a different reverb. If you want to put a reverb on a particular say you want to put a reverb hold on. Say you want to put a reverb on this part right here. Now you got the S1, the S2 send. You can connect something to the S1 and S2 send, like an effect to the S1 and S2 send, and hold on, is that turning? You can send something to one of the S1 effect directly to that send, where you can put the effects on the send right here, the 1 and the 2, I'm sorry. And then you can send that effect, you can add that effect on any one of these tracks. So in a better way, let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Like if you just get let's go get a reverb. Drop that down under there. It probably already did it, but hold on, I didn't do it. See, when you press S1, just send that effect straight to it. Did I do it right? Well, that's on the overall thing. But that's on the overall thing. I'm sorry about that. But what I'm saying, you can rig that up where you can just send that directly to the send. That's what I'm saying. I ain't do it right. But you can send that directly to the send on S1 and S2 and you can effect those certain particular parts for that instrument. So, you still got the velocities, the pitch, the level, the pan left and right. You still can mix your stuff to make it bang a certain way, right? Now, compared to the Kong, you don't have a lot of the effects that you can use, like how you use in the Kong. But again, it still go back to the part of, a lot of the times when you tweaking drums, especially putting the compressor on the drums, a lot of the time you putting the compressor on the overall drums. Sometimes you don't want to just EQ a particular instrument. Sometimes you just want to, tweak it a certain way, keep it the way it is, and then EQ the overall drums. It's pros and cons of that. Everybody have a disagreement with that, but based on which way you do, you get an outcome. And guess what? Now the Dr. Rex loop, that's a sampler. So samplers already sound a certain way. So that approach is way different. You're dealing with the reason kick drums, these right here. If you're dealing with these, they still got the pan, the velocity, the pitch. You can pan the instruments any way you want it. It still got like a little mixer level that you can use, You know what I'm saying? When you getting that, you get that joint right there. Let me see. Pan that to the left, see what it do. I guess that's the wrong one I grabbed. Hold on. Which one? I got highlighted a certain way. Okay, yeah. You grab that snare, then you pan that a little bit like that. You go all the way left. You go all the way right. You get what I'm saying? Them things sound thump. So it's like you still got a lot of tweaking and mixing that you can do right here. A nice little EQ. You don't have to do a lot when it comes to the drums, is my point, people. So don't stress about you always got to send them directly to the each track on the SSL mixer. This is with any dog. The most important time when you really need to do that is when you sending stems to a person. You got to send the stems out, and you need to get those joints out, and that's what you got to do. And this goes the same way from the club drums. This drum right called the umph. You can still, they all got certain things to make your instruments sound hard, thump, pump, sharp. You EQ them a certain way. It don't take a lot to get the critique them. You can put delays, effects, all type of basic things already to those drums. That's it. That's the whole point. And again, hope it's something that y'all can learn from and not stress about too much being it, because sometimes we get in the moment where we too technical about stuff, and it's like we never get nothing done, when you just need to stop stressing about the situation and just get things done, man, and stop feeling like you just got to rig everything up to send it to the mixer track, because every instrument, every drum machine designed different. But again, I'm not saying that you don't have to send them to the tracks. I'm just saying that I don't do it. I don't have to, unless I got to send stems. This is YYBY.